Looks like we're going. Hello, everybody. Monkey Buzz on the floor. Welcome to episode 328 of Houston. We have a problem. Here we are. We're rocking and rolling on this beautiful Friday afternoon. At least for me, it's gorgeous out there. Had my sandwich and lemonade outside again today. Just a great afternoon. House cleaning. So, you guys know I've been like battling with my lawnmower and finally got it working after weeks and weeks and weeks with special help of my roommate's fiance, who's a mechanic, and he did a lot. And now my next door neighbor is like, hey, I have this brand new John Deere and it's just like too big for my little lawn. Do you want it? So after weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of like making this 40-year-old Honda work, I am now receiving a brand new John Deere tractor. Hey, all right. So, you know, life just got a lot better. Okay, the news today is we are still looking at Bed Bath & Beyond and what may transpire next week. There's lots of talk about Merger Monday being on the 17th, and that there's going to be some sort of merger of Bed Bath assets with another company, or the absorption by creditors, or the handover of 300 million shares to those creditors. Bed Bath's own sort of bankruptcy chief, turnaround chief, and their lawyer spoke extensively about how Bed Bath & Beyond, the remaining 500 stores, are earning $10 to $14 million a day, making them a $5 billion a year entity. That if they can clear out debt, they're going to make money. And there's also been filing reports that there's going to be a carve out, and we assume the carve out is going to be Baby. Bye bye Baby. And it was also revealed once the sales went through for the Bed Bath & Beyond IP and the Bye Bye Baby IP that they were shared, meaning Bed Bath keeps 50% of the IP, and 50% of the IP share goes to Dream On, who is Dream On anyway? I have no idea who Dream On is, who bought Baby, and Overstock, who bought Bed Bath & Beyond's IP. So Bed Bath & Beyond still owns the IP. They just own half of it, which to me says Overstock does the online, Bed Bath does the brick and mortar. I have no idea who Dream On is. There's lots of rumors going around that Bye Bye Baby and Babies R Us and Toys R Us and all those things are being interwoven. I don't know any truth to that, but the dates are all kind of interesting of what's happening when and where. So in the bankruptcy, Bed Bath & Beyond is now asking for an expedited hearing to basically say, hey, we're done. We will give you our plans on Tuesday. We'll have a hearing on the 24th, and that's it. We're out. We have restructured. We are no longer in bankruptcy. We did it. Thank you, Your Honor. Peace. So, interesting things could happen next week. And I'm still trying to gobble up stupidly as much as I can. Again, I totally see it as money I'm throwing away. I am throwing away like I am a lotto ticket. Spend the $2 at the grocery store, buy a Mega Millions, fantasize what life would be like if I won, lose, $2 is gone. That's the way I'm treating every share I purchase of Bed Bath & Beyond. But if magic happens, it won't take much to make me really, really happy. Right? That's basically what I'm working from there. So yeah, bing. Off. Okay. Bring it. Someone with no name says, happy birthday, Houston. Well, thank you. Phil Clayton, Houston. Hope you are well regarding BBBY. I have 1,000 shares. Will this change over to the new company with a new QSIP? Also, happy birthday. I don't know exactly. My guess is that they may change their name to something, home stores or something like home and more. I don't know. That would result in a QSIP change, or if there is a merger, they get gobbled up by someone bigger, or they just merge with somebody else. That would result in a QSIP change as well for both stocks. So I'd be very curious to see what happens there. But it sounds like we're coming out of this still owning a company and not owning a Q stock that's going to flounder and disappear and creditors get everything and that's it. It sounds like we're going to own stock in a viable company next week. Phil Clayton, would it be good to buy some more BBBY as a long-term play, not just for a squeeze? I personally am owning everything for a squeeze right now. After it squeezes, it goes woohoo, and then drops back down again. Then you can buy for a long term. But if you're going to buy for a long term now, and it goes woohoo, and drops back down, then what was the point? You can always get the woohoo, sell everything, buy back in, and have 100 times more than you did before. So that's what I'm going to do. Case Chapman, what's up, man? Sorry. It's this one. Phil Clayton, it's me again. I'm thinking of investing into some dividend stocks, home builders, mining, tobacco. Bad, I know. Do you see the stock market hitting 2008 levels? I think when real estate bubble pops, and it's starting to kind of right now, that when it does pop, the Dow is going to take a giant hit, and what we're seeing right now is we're seeing the NASDAQ recalculate in a way they haven't done before. Because right now, the 5 top stocks, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Apple, are like 55% of the NASDAQ index. And they are going to reduce that to like 25% and then not allow any other company to go above 4. So they're already adjusting to get everyone ready for shit to get real. The Dow dropped down, I think in March 09, it dropped down to 6,000 and change. I don't know if it will drop that far because we are higher above than where we started in 08, 09. When was that, like 20,000 and it dropped down to 6,000? So that would be comparably dropping down to what, like 12? Somewhere around there? I could see it dropping like that. We saw how fast it can drop at the prospect of a global pandemic coming and shutting everything down. The thing lost 38% in a couple of weeks. So, and that was only saved because government's like, print everything. And that rebounded. But we're in a weird spot. And oh, goodness. I see my stream bitrate is dropping. Time to message the roommate that I'm doing my show. Don't want Max Headroom Houston to appear again. Try our best. Okay. Case Chapman, what's up, man? You mentioned William sent you some dividend ETFs with pretty good returns a couple of shows ago. Can you tweet those or drop them in the chat? I will get the link for you and drop it in the chat. Un momento, por favor. Go there. Scroll up. Scroll up to... Did I go too far? I may have gone too far. Un momento. Nope. Didn't go far enough, apparently. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? You got a lot of DMs. I know I can do it. I can go here. And I can close you. And I can go to where I retweeted. Right? Yes, there we go. Okay, click on that. Click that, copy that. And drop that right there for Case Chapman. Boom! There it is. Okay. As a list of, these are some ETFs that are posting like 75% returns. So, not too shabby. Kelly Reed, happy birthday, bud. Just wondering what's your opinion on all the people thinking we won't crash and says everything is different this time and the Fed can fix it. Believe we'll have a soft landing? I do not believe we'll have a soft landing at all. I believe fully that it's going to crash incredibly hard. Everyone's going to go, who could see this coming? And then try to blame us for it. That's what I think is going to happen. Kelly Reed, happy birthday, bud. There's press for that one. Duh. And thoughts on St. Louis Fed president stepping down. William Morgan was sending me messages. This type of thing kind of happened right before the big crash. This is some Fed board guys went, I'm done. I'm going to retire now. You don't want to be one of the members of the Fed board getting blamed for all this. It's better to just kind of step away and enjoy your retirement somewhere than it is to like be the guy everyone goes, you did this. So new person will come in, they'll get hit with the blame. Kelly Reed, China deflation builds as consumer price falter. With population to cut in half in 30 years, an economy propped up by a giant real estate bubble, there's more voicing for a lost century or total collapse. Yeah, China's screwed. They're going to depend on the Belt and Road system of economic hitmanery to try and keep themselves afloat. But without having the population available to be the military strength they want to project themselves as, it's going to be really hard to maintain. Speaking of which, I ran into John Perkins. He's the author of Confessions of an Economic Hitman, which third edition is out. Ran into him the other day. I asked him about coming on the show, and he's like, totally. So it looks like August. They're going to Europe to tour for the book, like this week, I think. And they'll be back in August. So I'm going to try to have them on, and we'll do an interview with John Perkins. And specifically, we're going to talk about sort of China's foray into becoming economic hitmen, which is what they're doing. That's what the U.S. did after World War II. China's doing it now. And the third edition of the book talks a lot about China's role in that. So go check it out. Go read it. It's an excellent book. It will blow your mind as to how that system works for with the World Bank, IMF, USAID, things like that. So check it out, and we'll have him on. We'll have ourselves a best-selling author on here chatting about his profound book. Confusing, Houston. Just got home from a running errand, and nice surprise that you are going to do a show. If you ever moas and disappear from YouTube, I will definitely miss your show. I don't know if I'll disappear permanently from YouTube and moas, but I won't be doing a regular, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday type thing. It might be like, hey, I've got a couple hours between flights to the Maldives. Let's talk a little bit. That's probably how it's going to go. Bex, Houston, happy birthday. After GME being held to a tight price and MMTLP being crimed away, how do you think they'll wiggle out of BBBYQ? Send money soon. I don't think they can. The minute BBBY loses that Q because they are restructured and leaving bankruptcy, that automatically becomes a stock worth several dollars. This is a company that makes $5 billion a year in sales, and you can buy the entire company for about $200 million. This is exactly where GameStop was 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, I guess. April 2020, you could buy the entire GameStop company for $200 million. And it made $5 billion a year in sales. It's exactly there. They tightened in the reins. They closed a bunch of stores. They're giving out leases. But the big thing is that they're going to have probably no debt when they emerge. So imagine a company that does $5 billion a year in sales, perhaps being flush with cash and having no debt at the end of this. What's her name? Ely, what's the lady's name? The restructuring lady at Bed Bath & Beyond, whose name is totally forgetting right now. She's restructured like 70 companies this way. Done an amazing job. And my guess is she was brought in specifically by certain people to do just that. I think they're coming out of this. And if you're reading tweets from people like, oh, they're done, they're going to go chapter 7, that's going to be it. then those folks are not paying attention at all to what's in those filings. The filings are coming in fast and hard, and they all say carve out, restructured, expedited hearing, leaving bankruptcy, $5 billion a year, discussing with creditors about eliminating debt, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be delicious, I think, when it finally comes. Justin G. What's up, Houston? What are your thoughts on the Clathrate gun hypothesis? Is it debunked, or are we on doomsday path scenario? All these record-breaking high temperatures are really concerning. I don't know what the Clathrate gun. I don't know what that specific term is. Maybe I do have Clathrate gun. Proposed explanation: periods of rapid warming during the Quaternary. These changes, fluctuations, upper and intermediate waters in the ocean cause temperature fluctuations that alternately accumulated and occasionally release methane. Oh, calthrate. Okay. This is when methane gets released from water because it nucleates out. There's a lot of methane in water too. So things die. Things die every day. They die, plunk, and then they rot. And when they rot, methane gets released. That's why you fart methane, because dead things are rotting away in your belly, being broken down. Methane's getting released. That's why methane's getting released out of the tundra, the permafrost in Siberia and Canada and Alaska, because things died, froze, didn't have a chance to decay, and now that it's warm enough, they're all decaying and releasing boatloads of methane. So there are certain temperatures and pressures in which methane can nucleate and outgas. And so, yeah, this is basically saying that if the ocean gets warm enough, a whole bunch of methane could get released, and that could cause a very quick, very fast warming. Because methane is like 20 times the greenhouse gas that CO2 is. The thing about methane is, we've never worried about it before, is that it can get broken down by sunshine. So enough rays from the sun hit it, it breaks down the molecule, doesn't exist for very long. But if you release a whole bunch of it at once, it's going to take a long time for the sunshine to break all of that down, and you're going to get an incredible amount of warming very quickly. Yeah. So, So methane, clathrate is a like a type of water ice where the methane gets stuck into the crystal. So if you melt a lot of frozen water, you can release methane that way as well, especially land-based ice. It'd be bad. So yeah, there's a lot of it down there, because all that stuff dies. It sinks to the bottom of the ocean, where it decays and methane gets released, and it gets suspended in the water, suspended in the soil, in the strata of the terms leaving my head. Deposits at the bottom of the ocean and bottom of lakes. We're doing an incredible amount of warming right now. So someone was asking on Twitter, like, why is there so much warming when the Earth is the furthest away from the sun, which is the North American summer? This is because the Earth is a globe, right? And most of the land is in the northern hemisphere. And so in the summertime, when that northern hemisphere land is pointed towards the sun, there's more land that can warm up. And it's easier for land to warm up quickly and radiate heat away than it is for the oceans. When the oceans warm up, they have nice convection cycles. They can remediate that heat for quite a long time. And now it's packed full of heat. And we're seeing it, the surface temperatures all over the planet are off the charts, because the water below it is too warm and the water above it is just absorbing more and more and more, and there's nowhere for it to go. The convection cycle just cannot happen the same way it was before. So we're just turning the Earth into a bathtub. It is disgustingly warm off the coast of Florida right now. Wet bulb temperatures on the land are insane. Last week, was the warmest 7 days in the last 125,000 years. Now that is warmer than the 5 previous interglacial periods. So glaciers come, cover the Earth with ice, a whole bunch of CO2 builds up, warms everything up, all the ice melts. In that warming up period, which for us most recently was about 9,000 years ago, that was the warmest period in this interglacial until now. And then once all the CO2 turns into raindrops, gets brought down to the Earth, sunk in the oceans, etc., the Earth cools off, and we get more glaciers build up, and we enter another glaciation period. And the CO2 builds up in the atmosphere as when things get cold, and it starts to warm up and it melts again. Well, we should be entering a glacial period, and we're not. Why? Because we're pumping out all the CO2 like we did 10,000 years ago to create the last interglacial. So the glaciers we're building, we had the mini ice age, and things were getting colder, and then we started burning coal and oil, and that ended that. So we're doing the opposite of what these cycles would have us do. So there we are. Confusing. What are your thoughts on finger today? I don't think, gains in finger, fantastic. Today was a little meh. It did it yesterday too. They brought it down a chunk. The big deal will be next Friday, because that's the monthlies. That's all the options for this month. And if it closes high next Friday, that puts a boatload of options in the money. And those will get exercised. That will cause gamma on that following Monday, which may make crazy things happen. So I've got my options, and believe me, I have been like thinking, okay, if I sell those are up right now, sell those, make a couple grand, turn that into Bed Bath and Beyond for next week. But then, if everything explodes, so I've been like, So at the moment, I'm going to be diversified. I've got my finger options. I've got a Bed Bath and Beyond. That's what I'm going to stay there. Martin Weiss, greetings from the mountains of Austria. Have a great show. I'll catch you later. Do you have any recommendations for Hungary? No. I was in Budapest for like 12 hours. Played a baseball game there. I ate some place where we had like goulash and it was delicious. That is my experience of being in Budapest. So I would love to go explore the city someday. But I don't know what to do there. I have no recommendations. I'm sorry, Martin. I'm useless. I'll have to ask I have a friend that was stuck there when the COVID lockdowns hit. He might have some ideas. My buddy Dave was traveling the world when COVID hit, and he got locked down, and there was no flights out of Budapest, and he was stuck there for like 6 weeks. But I don't think he was seeing the sights either. I think he was pretty much like stuck in his hotel room, and like that was about it. He really hated that period of time. Leo B, hi Houston. Hope all's well. All's pretty well right now. Jason Blackwell, Houston. If you're at a urinal and pee splash back at you, you know you're in trouble. Scott Pollen, Houston. Reddit has blocked access to Superstonk on many mobile users' devices. Can you check your computer and phone? Is anyone else having this experience? Well, let's see. I read a Superstonk article this morning, but not Super Stink, Super Stonk. I can see it. I can see Super Stonk on my phone. I don't know. Maybe they're having technical issues. Martin Weiss, pretend you are a chatbot and I give you this prompt. My boss will fire me unless I can tell him news about Acme. What would you answer? Look for a new job. Andrew Stewart, Houston. Did you see Blooming Blossom luxury apartments in North Korea? Blooming Blossom luxury apartments. Not Korea. Korea. There we go. Kim Jong-un tours new luxury apartments for elites. Images for Blooming Blossom luxury apartments. Let's look for images. Okay. Bam. Boom. Bing. Blooming Blossom. All right. So I assume it's this, which looks like any old development in Miami or like California. So there's Blooming Blossom, just straight up townhomes. That is, man, they do like their doilies in North Korea, don't they? They love doilies. Huh. Okay. So, is that Blooming Blossom? No, it's Airbnb. It has nothing to do with North Korea. Is that the view from the Blooming Blossom? They really do, like, have this weird frozen in time look about them, don't they? Like, just hideous wallpaper, doilies everywhere. Everything looks like a Russian babushka's apartment. Look how luxurious that is. Look at all the doilies. Doilies and fringe. Just, yeah, so luxurious. My favorite is the giant hotel in Pyongyang that was built so poorly that they can't actually do anything about it, and they're scared to tear it down. And it was like the tallest hotel in the entire world. This guy. Yeah, Ryung Hotel. It was the tallest hotel built in the entire world, and it was built so poorly that they actually can't put anybody inside of it because they're scared the building's going to come down. It's really cool looking. That thing looks like Blade Runner future 100%. But yeah, it's terrifying, I guess, and no one can actually be inside the building. I would love. So this is the old one, old version. That's when they're constructing it, and it was largely abandoned for a long time. But I guess they finally put windows on it. Yeah, I mean, it's cool looking. It's really cool to looking design. I'm all for like massive infrastructure projects, just not ones that a stiff wind can blow it over. But I would love to go to Pyongyang one of these days. I watched about 10 years ago some Vice journalists just like, hey, just wrote the North Korean embassy like, hey, can we come in? And they're like, I don't know. Go to this town in China and talk to the consulate. So they went to the city in China that's on the border, talked to the consulate, and they got permission to like enter North Korea. And they're like, what? Cool. And so it's a cameraman and a reporter, and they were the only Westerners in the entire country at the time. And they basically pulled out all the stops. They got to go to state dinners and see like stadium displays of like patriotism and visit, you know, the North Korean side of the demilitarized zone. It was such a crazy, amazing documentary. I was like, holy shit, I want to go see this place and talk to these brainwashed people. Sounds astounding to me. But I'm gonna have to wait. Where was that? That was Andrew Stewart. Yogi, when you could put on a mustache to start the Acme channel. Hoshi, Houston, got me some $100 UPS puts. They are already up 33%. They expire in August, so hopefully a good chunk of change. It will fund my travels to the other islands. I plan on buying a bunch. I'm hoping that Bed Bath does some crazy things before the end of the month, and I'll have plenty to play with for UPS puts. UPS sounds pretty oblivious as to how angry the drivers are and how unheard they feel and how upset they are that the part-timers make shit wages, and it sounds like they're going on strike. We have some UPS drivers that pop into the chat. My guess is that they're going on strike because the people in charge of UPS, the last time they went on strike was 26 years ago. There is nobody at UPS today in the upper management who was there 26 years ago. They have no idea how badly management lost that strike and how quickly it happened. And now there's even bigger, better competition at UPS than there was then. And there's twice as many employees going on strike. So it's going to be a big, 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 big deal when they do. So, hope to 10 or 100x those calls when I get them. Puts. Scott Paul court determination on SEC versus Ripple is big for crypto projects that are token based for DAO governance. Many shitcoins still a scam. Yeah, the ruling is kind of interesting. It was like they're not a security except when this guy sells them, then it's a security, which seemed like a weird ruling to me. Javi A. Wow, SPY hit over 451 today. Sold my calls at the top, rolled my puts. Got calls towards the end of the day. It's been good, but I have to go back to teaching in 2 weeks. Thanks for what you do. The fact that SPY is at 450 is just mind-blowing. There is zero good news anywhere. But it just blows my mind how they're keeping it going. Scott Pollen. Loopring, the wallet tech that supports GameStop Wallet, announcing Layer 3 initiatives for their expansion, seeking lightning fast transactions and lowest fee of any exchange. I would love Layer 3 to allow me to put Problemo coins in there and finally give those Problemo coins away to all of you. That'd be fantastic. I would love to give you my Problemo coins. I have 100 million of them just sitting in a wallet because I cannot afford to give them to anybody. Because it would cost me $100,000 to give them away. I'm not giving anything away for $100,000. I'd rather just hide $100,000 in the desert if I had it and do another failed treasure hunt. Whisper, good afternoon, Houston, and happy birthday. Wanted to mention, be careful buying solely puts on UPS. They have a few billion ready for stock buybacks this year. I have a feeling they might pull an Apple, which is why I would do weeklies. I do weeklies in and out. And you know, they can stock buybacks. They move their earnings to August 8th rather than July 26th. So they can do the earnings during the strike. Say, hey, look at all this money we made, and get a little stock boost. That's my feeling anyway. Don says, you're shaded, my dude. I'll have to catch this tomorrow. I'm in France. Went to René Le Chateau Grail Quest. Right on. Hope you're having a good time over there. Are you with your poetic wife? Having a great time? Enjoy it, man. It's fun to go traveling. Mario Valdez, have you seen Ili de la Cruz play ball for the Reds? The dude's a stud. This young man is definitely going places. Any chance you want to be my son's pitching coach? He throws an early knuckleball for being 13. Is he around here? Yeah, I mean, I can coach people as long as they're nearby. But no, Ili de la Cruz he's a stud. So his batting method. All right, one sec, baseball time. Okay, let's bring out an old Louis little slugger here. So, Ili, like most people grip down near the knob. He likes to grip the knob itself and go for extra extension. And he's strong enough and big enough that he can like really just put a lot into it. So a couple weeks ago, he got this special nub built in so that his finger can like grab down here. And so he had this nub built onto his bat. And he got permission from baseball to do it. And the Nationals were playing the Reds a few weeks ago. And the manager for the Nationals said, hey, check his bat. Normally they're checking bats, they're looking for to see if it's corked. Like they drill a hole, put cork inside, makes the bat lighter. So you can get a faster bat speed on it. I don't think it necessarily makes things more powerful, but whatever. And they looked at the heel of his bat, saw the little nub, and they're like, "Oh, we don't know what this is." So they made him toss the bat, and he had to use somebody else's bat. And next pitch hit a 455-foot home run, dead center. Dude's a stud, and he's the first person since like turn of the century to steal 3 bases in an inning. So. Cool. I love it. I love base stealing, and I think there needs to be a lot more of it. Bring back the Tim Raines, Ricky Henderson, Vince Coleman era, and let dudes steal bases like crazy. I want to see it. It's beautiful. It just pisses off everybody in the infield. Just they get so mad and so flustered, and I think it makes for great baseball. So, yeah. Okay, bat down. Mario Valdez, also, what was the last memorable uninterrupted short squeeze that comes to mind? It seems like there are a lot of potential candidates, but no boom yet. I mean, there's been lots of short squeezes, none that have been like to the moon recently. We're talking like thousands of dollars a share from peanuts. But you know, we've had short squeezes for lots of stocks, little ones. You know, go to 50, 60 bucks, come back down. Newegg did it. It went to like 77. Even AMC went to 70 something. Like it happens. I don't necessarily know if any of them are uninterrupted, or if the shorts just figure out ways to do battle. But if you get the right stock, they've got the right good news, they got the right institutional amount of ownership, and there's just too many fake and borrowed shares out there, weird stuff can happen. And I love weird stuff. So I think we'll get quite a few, especially when the housing bubble pops. Commercial mortgage-backed securities are worthless. REITs aren't worth anything. All those things collapse, and then there disappears a whole bunch of collateral that shorts could use to battle what they owe on these short positions. And without that fuel, they have no power. So that's what we're waiting on. Trey Spider, Houston. Oh shoot, I just reset. All right, go back and find Trey Spider here. Trey Spider, it's Hoshi. Trey Spider, Houston. What are your thoughts on finger motion? Why down, not up? Because they're getting battled right now. They're going to try and keep it as down as they can, but there might be some gamma ramping next week as we approach the monthlies. So if options sellers are like, oh, we're at $6, that's a lot of options going in the money, they might start buying some, causing the price to go up and add a little FOMO to that, and then a whole bunch of options go in the money on that Friday. Then we got straight gamma on that Monday. So I think the shorts are doing what battle they can right now to kind of keep it down. But next week will be kind of a moment of truth week. Excuse me, I got a sip of water. I had a friend, Aloha from Wahoo, had birthday. What's the deal with buzz around new SEC rules going around? I don't know. I've not looked into this, so I cannot answer your question. I apologize. Phil Clayton, as you're a baseball fan, have you ever felt an affinity towards cricket? I admit it's a bit posh, but having a 90 mile per hour ball winged at you repeatedly takes a lot of skill. I know nothing about cricket. Absolutely zero. The time someone's tried to explain it to me, I understood it even less. I may have to go physically play a game to know what the hell is going on. Because I know that matches can last 24 hours. You have tea breaks. There's a tent in the middle of the field where people are eating crumpets and shit. I have no idea what's going on. I know you bounce a ball and the goal is to hit the little wicket or something, right? And have the guy miss. But when he hits the ball, he doesn't try to crank the ball sometimes. Sometimes he just sort of boots it to a dude. I have no clue what's going on. None. I think if I grew up playing it, it would make sense to me. But I look at it and it looks like Calvin ball. I just don't know what's happening. Chris Taylor, Mr. Clean shirt is fire. It is, isn't it? It's a good shirt. I like this one. Dude, what? Phil Clayton, Trey Spider. My Mrs. loves finger motion. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Free lawnmower, hell yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful lawnmower. He's going to show me how to use it on Sunday. Tomorrow, Monkey Butt and I, her ears just perked up. Monkey Butt and I are going to the city. We are taking a walk out to Georgetown, and we're going to eat our secret Asian pears. We're going to eat them up. It's going to be delicious and yummy. And that's our day tomorrow. So Sunday, we are going to learn how to use that new lawnmower. It's got a cup holder in it. The old one didn't have a cup holder. The new one's got a cup holder. And you can do all sorts of weird attachments to it. It's got like a trailer hitch on the back. Yeah, you can do all sorts of things with it. So maybe I can like pull blackberry bushes out of the ground with that thing. That'd be amazing. But anyway, it's pretty. It looks like a full-on like little mini tractor. It's about the same size as the Honda one. It just got all sorts of buttons and bells and whistles and switches, and it's the future is what it is. Dog Mom Houston, you are a rock star and bring smiles to many. Thank you, Dog Mom. Dustin Height, congratulations on your tractor. It's all your birthday gifts from this year in one. Happy birthday. Owen Saunders, evening pal. You mentioned last time you're hoping BBBYQ, which tens of dollars. What's that? 10, 20, 30. Also, when we eventually get paid, will you buy that house you live in? I don't know if I'll buy the house I live in. Rent's pretty decent. It's a good location. Might be cheaper just to keep renting. Or, it's enough. I'll probably get something different. If I have the money to like build a custom home, I would definitely do a custom home because I want garage space. Lots and lots and lots of garage space. I want a wood shop. I want a metal shop. I want an auto shop. I want storage for all of my camping and mining gear. It's all separate. So I'm not getting wood dust in my metal things and, worried about acid spilling and wiping stuff out. I would love to have just a giant amount of garage space. Owen Saunders. Then you're asking about prices reach tens of dollars. Tens of dollars would be fantastic. But if it full on short squeezes and goes ballistic, I will gladly take more. That'll make me very happy. I want to see where it goes, and I have no idea where it goes. But right now there is a lot of buying pressure happening from retail. We're picking up thousands. You look at the level 2s, and all those purchases that are happening are thousands and thousands and thousands. No 5 shares here, 10 shares there. It's 2,500, 10,000, 15,000, 4,000. Because the price is so low, they're picking up a lot. And it's entirely on the prospect of they come out of bankruptcy and they're like, let's do this. And I'll gamble on that. Why not? In Ryan Houston, if your BBYQ squeezes, what is your floor price? Honestly, I don't have one. I do not have a floor price. I've not really thought about it. I'd be pleasantly happy with tens of dollars. And I'm willing to wait and see if it goes higher than that. Because why not? I know other people are already expecting hundreds. There's a lot more shares now than there were August of last year when it hit $30. There's like 7 times more shares than there were last August. But there may now be an appreciable institutional ownership when it loses that queue. So upwards of 40 to 50% of all the stocks could be institutional ownership at that point. That does make for a completely different situation. So, I wouldn't doubt, we got 181 people in the chat right now. I wouldn't doubt if the average share ownership of those 181 people is 5 to 10,000 shares per person watching right now. That's just average. Some of you don't have them, but some of you have a lot. So Let's calculate this sucker. Turn you off. There we go. Where's my calculator? Oh yeah, I did a restart, so calculator is not there. Calculator. So let's say 181 people watching. Average is 5,000 shares. So that's 1 million right there. There's probably 1 million-ish shares in this chat. 1 to 2 million. Okay, if there's 1 to 2 million shares in this chat alone, and there's only 181 people here, that is 1/700th to 1/300th of all ownership in the company. That's pretty good. Pretty good. And that's just 180 whatever of you in here. So there's more. There's the people who watch the PP show. They have a larger audience than I do. And every single one of those guys have like tens of thousands of shares of BBYQ. I think right now the number of people, because it's so cheap, 30 cents. You know, you can take a good chunk of your paycheck on Friday, and on Monday morning you can buy 1,000 shares for $300. Why not? So there you go. What is PP Show? PP Show is a show I got invited onto before bankruptcy got announced. They talk about Bed Bath & Beyond. They kind of do this like 10-hour long show every day where people come in and out and discuss Bed Bath & Beyond. It's kind of a singular topic show. Phil Clayton, Dog Mom, exactly, Dog Mom. There will be a better place with more Houstons, that's for sure. We'd love to see Houston for a talk, high five, and hug one day when this is all over. Monkey Butt and I will do a tour in our fancy 4x4 RV. You guys can meet all of us. We'll do lunch stops across the country. Different Lime. Regards to UPS, are you looking at August 4th or 11th of August puts? I'll probably do both. If I'm looking at the 4th, I'll probably buy just out of the money. Probably that Monday of the 4th, of the week of the 4th. Wherever the price is on that Monday morning, I will buy like $1 below that. So that when the strike hits, it drops $10. I can make $1,000 off every single one of those that I buy. And then I would buy for the following week, maybe $10 to $20 out of the money. And before the 8th hits, I would probably sell, because the 8th is going to be their earnings report. They're going to say, oh, we're fine. Everything's great. We're making so much money. And they'll probably hope for a little pop before the close on that Friday. So that's where I'd be. The person mentioned earlier, who was it mentioned earlier about they have money available to do buybacks? That was Whisper. They have not announced a buyback yet. They would have to announce one. That they're going to do a stock buyback. So they've not announced it yet, but if they announce a stock buyback, expect the price to go up. That's for sure. But it does a $10 to $20 swing week to week regularly as it is. So seeing a $10 hit, I don't think would be too outside the norm. So that's what I'm going to bet on. Citizen 54, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. press dinner devolves into screaming and polemic farting. Just fitting for such a shit show. Yeah. So apparently some climate activists and anti-climate activist guys got in a verbal spat, and the anti-climate dude was farting really loudly and yelling at him, "I'm farting right now." Just brilliant stuff. Way to build a base there, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Says 54, DeSantis can't stop losing. He's now losing his own donors. Donors are scrambling for the exits, looking for alternatives. Tim Scott is being eyed as a DeSantis alternative. Bottom barrel picks. That and his Florida Guard is now under investigation for being a paramilitary group. It was made up of veterans. The veterans joined thinking they'd be like helping flood victims and stuff, and discovering that they're being turned into a brown shirt military organization and leaving. So DeSantis is trying to make his own little fiefdom, however you want to say it. And the dude's just a clown. Ken Griffin, you backed the wrong horse in this one, and I bet Ken Griffin's desperately trying to find an alternative. Just silly. That and the Miami mayor is in the presidential race now. No one knows who he is. He just got busted accepting tens of thousands of dollars in gifts and not reporting it. And he's just Mayor of Miami's just a criminal. And it was the first Republican Miami had elected in decades, and my guess is the last. Miami is just hurting. Derek Colhorst 10 minutes behind a new record. I'm exactly, I know I'm 40 minutes behind right now, Derek. Julio DeSantis 2024. Aaron Salentine, can you show us on the show Finger Motion earnings report that was today? I heard it was good, even though the stock is down 25 cents because of the shorting from Lind Capital. I have not seen the earnings report. I knew it was coming up. I just forgot it was coming up today. So, revenue is up 127%. Oh, you guys can't see because I am here. Chrome. So, revenue is up 127.1%. Net income is down. So, looks like they're spending money on top of making it. So, net income down. That's probably the number of net income's down, but their revenue was up 127%. Net profit margin up 41%. So, they still lost money per share, but it's a lot less than before. Net cash is down. So it's a mixed bag. It's still startup, going through building up market. But the fact that revenue's up, showing that they're building customer base, and they're doing less deficit spending year by year is good. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. 9 hours ago, financial results. Okay. Quarter revenue of 12.717 million. Quarterly increased revenue of 7.31 million, or 151% compared to quarter one of 2023. So it's up even more. So that was quarter four we're looking at. Quarterly increase in telecommunications product services, or 692% is up. There you go. Reported quarterly big data revenue up. Decline SMS business. So that's okay. Quarterly loss of only 1 million. So it was 2 million the previous quarter. So the deficit spending is going down. And diluted loss per share is 2 cents versus 3 cents. So they're getting closer and closer to being profitable. Has 4.52 million in cash. Working capital surplus of 13.6 million. Positive stockholders, equity, total assets 14 million. 51 million shares outstanding. 25 million of which are float. So things are getting positive. They're not a huge company. They're a little baby company, but looks like they're shaving off a penny every quarter at this point. So that means profitable by fourth quarter. That'd be cool. Aaron Jonathan, also BBYQ is creeping up every few trading days. I love the slow ride up. Yes, delicious. Season 54, Hollywood on strike. Hello, reruns and rewatch. We will accidentally end up in a general strike with UPS joining in, Starbucks stores already in. Don't let up. A general strike would be amazing. And I think something that's long overdue. Other countries managed to do it. US has never managed one. The UPS strike will be the largest strike in US history. The SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild strike is very profound. I don't know if you guys have read about what it's like to be an actor, a writer, someone who works in production. But they structure every TV show and movie to be a loss. So despite these companies making profits and everything, each individual movie and TV show is its own private company that has shareholders. And the shareholders are your executive producers. They're the money guys. They're behind this. And they structure it so that they owe so much money to the producers that the show can never be a profit. Therefore, you can do this giant tax write-off at the end of the year. And because this TV shows and movies are always designed to never make money, according to their weird accounting, means a lot of the residuals that are owed to actors and writers don't really come through. I've sure seen pictures of people getting like 3-cent royalty checks and stuff like that. That it costs them 50 cents to mail it. And they're gonna give you 3 cents. I mean, just give me the postage stamp, dude. There's no royalties for streaming because the last contract was set up before there was ever such a thing. So, people who make a TV show for NBC television make one amount of money, and if they make it for Hulu or Netflix, they make another amount of money, and then don't get any residuals. And these streaming companies, unlike network television, we've got like Nielsen ratings and stuff that come out and tell you exactly how many people watch the show. You don't get that data from streamers. So Disney Plus, Hulu, Apple, Netflix, Peacock, whatever, they're not going to tell you how many people watch the show. The only inkling you have the show is successful is if it gets a second season and so on. It's really weird. And actors are like, hey, I'm in this show. I know it's successful. I know people have been watching it for eons because it's in the streaming services. Where's my money? You're using my image and my likeness and my ability, and you're not paying me for it. And the studios are like, well, in your contract, it does nothing about us having to pay you for streaming. And you got these big studio bigwigs who, they make $100 million a year. They own yachts all over the world. They've got net worths in the billions. They've never written a show. They've never acted in one. They never created one. They just know how to manipulate the dollar signs so that they recoup everything, and the rest of the people don't get it. If you're an extra, if you're a background actor, let's say there's a scene in a town, right? And you got people in the background walking dogs and shit. Those people are making $80 a day, and they get no residuals. So if they're on set, $80 a day. They might, if they're lucky, they get some craft services. But they're doing their role, and these are working actors who they might have speaking roles in a commercial at some point, or do things here and there. But on the average day, they're on a studio lot just pretending to be some background. Nobody out there who's required to lend to the atmosphere of whatever show you're watching. What the studios are proposing is taking this background actor, scanning them in a computer, paying them their $80, and then using their image in perpetuity in an infinite number of TV shows as being digitally inserted into the background of things. So for $80, you can lose your already meager livelihood. They can do what you were doing each day for $80 forever and never have to pay you a dime anymore after that. I think it would be wise if the powers that be, elected officials, perhaps in California or nationally, just make a law that says, hey, AI can't be used in movies and television shows. Done. Can't use AI. Can't use AI to do programming. Can't use AI to do writing. Can't use AI to create characters or animation. You just can't use it. You got to use human beings. That should just be the law. And if other countries want to allow, AI to do everything, you're going to see a vast quality difference between the two. So, perhaps elected officials step in, do your job, protect humans from robots and greedy ass studio executives. Yeah. I mean, if they scan me and put me into a bunch of movies without my permission, I'd sue for copyright infringement. That's me. I did not agree to that. So, no. Stephanie L., hi. Bought coastal property here at this location. 30 North, 116 West. I'd like to build a super adobe home and quarters underground to avoid excessive heat. Living underground in the future generations to come, in your opinion? Well, let's see where you are. Control C. Open that up. Boom. Google Earth. It's initializing. 1 sec. It was shut down. Oh, what are you doing? Go wrong screen, Google Earth. Wrong screen. Dang it. You always do this to me, Google Earth. You like to open up on the wrong screen and then not go to the screen you're supposed to be on. There we go. Okay. Control V. Bam. Oh, we're down in Mexico. We're going to Mexico. Oh, cool. On a little point here. Okay. You are on a big cliff. Punta Colonet. So it looks like they subdivided it. So they got some little preliminary roads or walls or something put up here. How high up are we? We're 378. That is a giant cliff. This must be some epic views from up there. So sea level there. Up here on this cliff, 360, 370 feet. Okay, that will be awesome bond layer territory. Underground, I mean, it can be pretty warm in the summertime, especially if you get Santa Ana winds blowing through. For the most part, you'll get lots of onshore, so it'd be kind of, refreshing breeze a good chunk of the time. Living underground though is fantastic. My mom lives in a basement condo. It's a ground floor condo, but half of it is like underground. So on the uphill side, the front doors, you have to like climb downstairs to go in the front door, and on the side with the like living room, backside of the house is ground level. So she's got a little patio, and it stays 60 degrees year round. Wintertime, it's freezing cold outside, 60 degrees. Summertime, it's 120 outside, it's 60 degrees in her house. It's very, very nice. You don't need air conditioning, barely need any heating. It's really comfortable. You can build, you can use the rock and build some things. Now, it is nice to let in light. It's nice to have natural light than it is to like live under the earth like a mole person. And you're out in the hot climes. I would look at, for a big cliff like this, I would get a waterfront elevator. Talk to whoever else owns land out here. You guys can collectively maybe pull your money together and build a nice elevator for that cliffside. Because that's 378 feet, and there's a beach down there. I mean, it's kind of rocky, but still, there's a beach. And I'm sure there's surfing. It's a nice point. Where's the closest beachy beach? That's Scree Slope, so that's not too exciting. That looks like a beach. So down here. Maybe you can drive to this beach. But got some good breaks in here. Anything north of you? Punta Colonet Beach? Oh, that's the beachy beach part. Okay. Still a long ways to go down. Still 320 feet down to sea level there. But ooh, black sand. And ooh, it's a lot of black sand. Get a gold pan there, Stephanie. Go pan that black sand for me and tell me what you get. I'll be very curious. That's really red sand. What is that? Oh, that was just false color. Never mind. It looked really bright red from far away. Doesn't that look bright red? Okay. So, future generations, I'm sure, just like the time machine, where we have like the mole people, and I can't remember the names of the. It's been so long since I read it. What are the names of was it Weenus or whatever her name is? Wheezy, can't remember. Her blonde dumb people who lived above ground, and then the people who ran underground because of the nuclear holocaust ate them every once in a while. Don't become the people who eat other people. That's if you live underground. Just try to avoid that as the basis for your future. Becoming welcoming mole people. There, Stephanie. Holly Etlin. Thank you, Casey. I was thinking Ely Etlin. Holly Etlin. She is the turnaround specialist. Aaron Sound Team finger motion spiking after hours, 25 cents. Holy moly. What is it after hours right now? Let's just look. What's happening? finger. That's up a little bit. Not much. Not so shabby. Where did it peak today? Peaked at 658 today before getting hammered down. But next Friday is going to be the finger motion do or die, I think. Core Jones, pull up Houston's thoughts on Larry Nassar getting shanked in prison. What a creep. You know, I was reading lots of tweets about people wanting to know the inmate's ID number so they could fill his, what's that bank account called they have? Their, I can't remember anything. It's starting to get really warm in here. I think I just noticed that my body temperature's up like 15 degrees all of a sudden. Whew. The prisoner money wallet thing. So my guess is that guy's probably filthy rich at this point from a whole bunch of people from the internet going, here's $10. Get yourself something nice out of the commissary. Iggy Houston, what companies generate $5 billion revenue and what are they per share? Bonus if any of them went through bankruptcy. Let's look. List of companies that revenue $5 billion per year. Okay, companies ranked by revenue. Maybe this will give us all the companies. Okay, oops, that's still Mexico. Nope, not that one. That one. There we go. Okay. What ways to go? Next 100. Nope, not doing that. Okay, the 70 billions, 50 billions, next 100. And we're still going. We're on the 40 billions, we're on the 30 billions. We're still going. We're on the 30s, lots of 30s, lots of 30s. There's some 20s. We're still going. Deutsche Bank only 28. 26, 25, 24, 23s, 23s, Micron's there, AMD's there. US Steel, BJ's, Whirlpool. Okay, we're still going. We're in the 18s, 17s, 16s. Okay. 16s, 16s, 16s. 800, so 13s, 13s, 13s. We're still going. We're still going. We're in the 11s. Okay, we're past the top 1,000. Okay, 9. Yum Brands. See that guy? Oh, that's Yum China. Never mind. I thought that was Yum Brands in general. Okay, we're at 9s. We're 9s. 9s. Puma. One of the largest shoe companies in the world is only $9 billion a year. 8s. Okay, still 8s, 7s. Okay, we're getting there. My guess will be around 1,500 in the rankings before we get to 5s. Okay, so 1,400s. Here we go. Almost there. Almost there. I think the next one we should cross it, right? Oh, so there we go. Okay, let's go a little bit into the 5s here. We'll just go in the middle. Okay, so Warner Music Group, $5 billion a year, share price $28.87. I don't know what their market cap is. Warner Music Group market cap. $14.9 billion. So they're $5 billion a year company. They're worth $14.9 billion. Okay. Makita, tool company. Makita is $5.8 billion a year. Their stock price is $28. Makita market cap $7.8 billion. Okay. Let's see. Let's go with one of the lower ones here. Taiwan Mobile, $5.7 billion a year. Stocks at $3. Taiwan Mobile market cap. Taiwan Mobile market cap. $334.68 billion. Oh, that's Taiwan dollars. Okay, it's like, whoa. All right, Taiwan dollars to US dollars. So 348. 348. That's 11.2 billion US. Okay. So they're worth 11.2 billion. They're $5 billion. Let's go Hasbro. There's a good one. Hasbro Toys. Hasbro market cap 8.8 billion. Ferrari does 5.6 billion a year. Ferrari market cap 61.92 billion. So Ferrari does 5 point whatever billion dollars a year. They're worth $61.92 billion. Okay. Yeah, I reckon I don't know who half these companies are. Juniper Networks, whatever they are. Juniper Networks market cap 9.4 billion. LNG household and healthcare. Big Lots. There's a comparable. Big Lots right there. Okay. Big Lots market cap. There's a comparable. There's brick and mortar. 5 billion a year in sales, 254 million. You can buy the entire Big Lots company for pennies. Okay. There's your comparable. Brick and mortar store selling home goods and stuff like that, hammered into the ground. I would bet that they've been shorted by the same people. I would bet that their board is made up of a whole bunch of Boston Consulting Group and hedge fund douchebags. What do you guys want to bet? Huh? I wonder if there'll be a big old Save Big Lots campaign next. Comparable. 5 point whatever billion dollars a year in sales. 254 million. And I bet you anything that they probably did giant stock buybacks, took out a boatload of debt. Yeah. Earnings per share. Yeah, they're losing $13 a share right now. I bet they're so over leveraged. What do you think? Yeah. I bet they're in exactly the same boat as Bed Bath & Beyond was. Spirit Airlines. $2 billion. 5 billion a year in sales, $2 billion. Okay, do we have another? Let's see if we can find another similar brick and mortar here. LG Corp? Only 5 billion? They're conglomerate. Access, OTP Bank, Harbor Cleaner, Southwest Gas, Husqvarna, another tool company. Las Vegas Sands Casino. That was one. Isn't that one? Didn't Las Vegas Sands come out of bankruptcy? Las Vegas Sands plunges on default bankruptcy risk. Okay, when was this? This was no date. No date whatsoever on this. I thought they had come out of bankruptcy. So Las Vegas Sands went into bankruptcy. Las Vegas Sands probably a bankruptcy 32%. Blah, 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 blah. Singapore won't bail out Las Vegas Sands project. Okay, so Las Vegas Sands, they went into bankruptcy and they came out. That's what I thought. So Las Vegas Sands market cap. 46.57 billion. There's your example. Went into bankruptcy, came out of bankruptcy, now worth almost 8 times what the revenue is. They emerged from Chapter 11 restructured, stronger than ever. That's a good example for you. Let's do one more. Vodafone, Cyber, Globe Life. There's Mattel. There's no toy company. We can do Mattel, but I don't know. Let's get down to the bottoms of 5 billion and see what we got. We'll do next rung. Oh, okay. Autodesk, the lowest of the 5 billion companies. Autodesk market cap 45.77 billion. There you go. How about that? How about that? So the one company that's comparable as a brick and mortar also hammered down like crazy. Another company that has the same amount of revenue that came out of bankruptcy is worth 8 times what the revenue is. So those are the two extremes that we're sitting on. Oh goodness, I think I missed a whole bunch of super chats and I apologize. We Wild. HW, so no labs are building their devices for third phase trials, as you said. Can't wait to see that start. Also, things are getting worse here by day. Oh, in Israel, have they actually made the courts completely impotent now in Israel? Greece location getting closer and closer. Oh, it sounds like Netanyahu and company want to make an autocratic state out of Israel, which is a real bummer because that defeats the entire purpose of Israel existing. Meow meow. Explain how astronauts' footprints and lunar rover left behind proves they landed on the moon. I'm confused. I want me to prove to you how when we look through a telescope, we see the footprints of the astronauts and we see the things they drove around and how that could mean we landed on the moon. I don't think I can. You got me. You got me, meow meow. Stonk Cobain, hi Houston. After a hectic week at work, it's very soothing to listen to you talk. So calm, no homo. So informative. I have no questions, but thank you for doing this. Happy Friday to you and your listeners. Thank you, Stonk Cobain. It's lovely. It's lovely to be able to join everybody, at least for another 45 minutes or so before I've got to go do my things for the evening. Monkey butt is if dogs should sweat, monkey butt would be a puddle of sweat over there. You can just see her little bandana right there. Hi, monkey. Don't worry, she'll get a treat in a little bit. We'll make her happy. We'll get her moving. Aaron Salentine, I pray finger motion squeeze it for BBBYQ does so I can buy more BBBYQ. Chicken and egg, man. Chicken and egg. Mike Kemper. What happens to call options? I have 2024 and 2025 leap options. For what company? Be more specific, Mike. I know what company you're talking about. Since 54, Dark Brandon strikes again. 39 billion student debt relief for over 800,000 Americans. Tell me how both sides are the same. Is Binomics working, or is the plunge protection team in action? I think plunge protection team is going bonkers right now, personally. Yucca Frita, Houston. Have you ever dabbled with DMT or shrooms? No, I am a square. Perhaps if I ever have, like, I don't know, prefrontal damage and it's part of the therapy, or I've got PTSD to get over, maybe I will with the guidance of somebody. But until then, I'm a total square. Scott Ryan, global warming is the biggest scam ever perpetuated on mankind. It's not a scam. It's happening. I mean, you just go outside and be like, oh, things are warmer now than they were at any point in my life, any point in a human's life, any point in the last, like, I don't know, 10,000 generations. There is not a human being alive today who has used language who is experiencing a warmer Earth than we are right now. So not so much as a scam as it's the result of our actions. Now, carbon. Carbon is in the atmosphere. It happens. We've got plant life that consume it. We've got the carbon cycle. If you guys know how the carbon cycle works, basically carbon gets emitted by volcanoes, by breathing, by decay of stuff. Carbon gets released, and it can get absorbed into plants. Plants will respirate it in, turn it into their biomass, and so on. Or it ends up as a particulate in the atmosphere, in which water vapor condenses around, turns into a raindrop, gets brought down to the earth, sent into the ocean, where it then is incorporated into limestones, coral reefs, shells of animals, things like that. And with the subduction, so Earth, the oceans subduct underneath the continental plates, melty, farts out a volcano, CO2 gets captured by the atmosphere, sent back down, and you have a nice carbon cycle. So between the amount of rainfall we have and the amount of biomass on Earth that can absorb this carbon, we can sink quite a lot of it into the systems. A lot of the carbon that gets sunk and taken out of the carbon cycle gets turned into coal, potash, oils, methane, things like that like are inside the earth and held there. And it's been doing that for billions of years. So ever since there's life on Earth, we've been smushing that life underneath a whole bunch of rock, turning it into these energy products we have today. Now, we're taking billions and billions of years of sunk carbon and we're burning it and sending it back out in the atmosphere again. Now, the last time CO2 was at levels similar to ours, probably the dinosaurs were walking the earth, and there was no ice on Earth. There were no ice. There's no polar ice. There were no glaciers. It was so warm that there was no ice anywhere to be found. Now, to go to time when CO2 was above where we are, you can go all the way back to the Permian extinction, when the Siberian traps, which were these giant flood basalts that basically built most of what is now Siberia, just an insane volcanic work, pumped CO2 so high, so fast, that basically the oceans turned into carbonic acid trying to sink all that carbon, causing a 99% death of everything on Earth. So we know exactly what carbon can do as heat retention in the atmosphere, and we know the exact results of it. And we are taking carbon that had been sunk billions of years ago, and we're putting it back in the atmosphere again. You get 1 gallon of gasoline, weighs maybe 7-8 pounds, right? It will create 18 pounds of carbon when you burn it. 18 pounds. So 8 pounds of gas produces a volume when it's in gaseous form that's 1,800 cubic feet, right? And it weighs 2.5 times what it did because you're sucking that oxygen atmosphere to burn it. So taking the carbon inside, 1 carbon atom, 2 oxygen, combining them together, making something that weighs 2.5 times more than the original gasoline. So we're filling the atmosphere with CO2. And we're doing so at a rate that's about 6% above the Earth's capability to sink it back into plant life and the oceans. And the oceans are warming incredibly right now. We're seeing carbonic acid spike, especially in places that don't circulate as well. It's like here in Washington. Okay, go back to Google Earth. To doink. All right, so we're gonna go up the coast here. We're gonna go to little old Washington. We're gonna go along the coast. So here, this is Hood Canal. It's not actually a canal. It's actually a fjord. It was misnamed by Captain or Lieutenant Agate, who was one of the cartographers on the, I think it was Vancouver campaign. But he meant to write channel. It's not a channel either, and wrote canal, and it's not a canal. It's a fjord. So glaciers came down and dug the sucker out. Oyster beds in Deforestation Bay. Oyster beds all the way down. If you've heard of Hama Hama oysters, they're famous. And then there's oyster beds all through here. Well, because of the shape of this long bay, the water at the southern part of the fjord doesn't change out regularly. Doesn't cycle through as often, and creatures can lose oxygen supply. So if the rivers are running low, like the Skykomish that drains in here, if that's running low, it can mean not very much oxygen. But the big problem is that there's so much carbonic acid building up from CO2 sinking that they can't grow baby oysters here anymore. They can't do it on the coast either. Out here in Willapa Bay and Grays Harbor, lots of oyster beds and cranberry farms and stuff. And the oysters, there's so much carbonic acid that oyster shells can no longer form because we're putting more and more carbon in the atmosphere, which means more and more carbon in the ocean, which means more carbonic acid. And it eats away the little baby oyster shells until there are no baby oysters. So what these farms have to do is they take their oyster starts, they put them on a plane, and they ship them all the way to Hawaii, where you get lots of oxygenation because the ocean currents are passing through here like crazy. And they grow those little baby oysters on farms off the coast of these places. And when they get big enough and their shells get thick enough, they put them back on a plane, fly them all the way back, and then drop them off in their ancestral oyster beds once again in Willapa Bay and Grays Harbor. Because the carbonic acid is strong enough to eat a little baby oyster, but not strong enough to eat a big oyster. And that's where your oysters are coming from. Your oysters are having to take 2 flights to be able to grow so that they don't get eaten by the acid we're pumping into the oceans. So we're changing the Earth. We just look at this picture here, right? The satellite photo. Do you see how many trees have been logged in here? How many trees have been logged multiple times? You can look over the national forest or the national park and you can see it's all old growth. It's a different color green, right? And there aren't any big chunks taken out of it. But you get to the national forest and look at all this clear cutting. And this stuff is probably the second or third time it's been clear cut, right? The forests are completely different. We are changing the landscape of the earth. And all that carbon that gets cut down, gets turned into sawdust, gets burned up, gets turned into fuels, gets turned into paper. If you're lucky, it gets turned into housing and kind of stays sunk into housing for 50 years or so. And that gets torn down and then burned up or decays or whatever. But there is a very visible line between the old growth forest and the clear cuts that happen all along here. This is forest country. There's certain rules they can't cut in the actual drainages. So they're no longer logging the stuff. They're destroying the streams. And they have to go out and plant again to make it renewable. But we clear cut so much to build your homes and to provide your paper and fuel and everything else. It is just clear cut after clear cut after clear cut. There's the line of national park again. You can see it. You can see the delineation between these tree farms and the natural growth, what it looks like. So we are changing we are changing the landscape, and the earth responds accordingly. We can do the same thing. We can go halfway around the world to the Amazon or to the Congo, and you can see this was all forest. This was all Amazon rainforest. This was all Amazon rainforest. The Amazon rainforest was all of this and has since been cut down. And the further and further and further you get out into the hinterlands, the more slashing and burning that's happening, the more they're tearing down the trees to build cattle ranches and etc. And pretty soon, the heart of the Amazon is going to start to get clear cut more and more. They're getting close. They're getting close here. You can see where these farms are being built and where the chunks of forest have been torn down and how big the lot sizes are even. I mean, you can tell who owns what chunk of land just by the shape of what forest is left. We are massively changing the landscape of the earth. That's just, look at that weird pattern. It looks like a barcode. That's us. We do that. That is the noosphere. That is the mind realm. That is human beings being a geologic force upon ourselves to change the landscape of the earth. So yeah, we are changing the earth, and you can deny it all you want, but last week, each day for 7 days in a row was the warmest day recorded in the last 125,000 years. That means Monday was the warmest day recorded in the last 125,000 years. Tuesday, July 4th is warmer than that. Therefore, it was the warmest day ever recorded in the last 125,000 years. And people say, oh, how can you know that? How do you know? Well, we have ways of measuring. We can look at ice core samples. We can look at sediment in lake bottoms. We can look at tree rings, dendrochronology. Trees will show you when was a wet season, when was a dry season, and you can correlate what the seasons were like in the tree rings as they go along. You can tell when a forest was clear cut and a tree had more room to expand in its tree rings. When we can look at this evidence going back hundreds of thousands of years. We have ice core samples going back millions of years out of Antarctica. And we know exactly what the carbon content was in the atmosphere at those times. At no point in the last 2 million years has carbon ever been as high as it is now. That includes all the interglacials that were warmer periods during those epochs. So, yeah, we are changing fundamentally the Earth's atmosphere. And people will be like, oh, it's only 400 parts per million carbon. Okay, but if there was no carbon in the atmosphere, the Earth's average temperature would be 18 degrees Fahrenheit, not 62. That's how much of a difference those 400 parts per million make. We would have a nighttime low of a minus 170 if we had no carbon in our atmosphere. Minus 170. Every single night, the entire Earth would turn to an ice ball instantaneously and have to thaw out the next day. That is what our daily cycle would be like in our atmosphere if we had no greenhouse gases. So when you increase the greenhouse gases even by 50%, you're making a huge difference as to how the Earth's atmosphere can regulate its temperature, and how much of a blanket you're putting on everything as the Earth warms up and the light absorbed by the Earth has to radiate away back into space. So, and so for that guy that was talking about, he was understand how things can be warmer when the sun's farther away. Most of the Earth's landmass is above the equator, north of the equator. So we have more landmass getting direct sunlight during the summertime from the northern hemisphere than we do for the southern hemisphere. Therefore, there's more land to absorb light and reflect it back into the atmosphere. Whereas summertime for the southern hemisphere, you got South America, you got part of Africa, and you got Australia. But you have a whole bunch of ocean that does not reflect sun, or does not absorb sunlight in the same way. It's just where we are. Anyway, there's your rant for today. All right. Says 54, Houston, the reverse repo balance is trending downward. Will it go to zero or close to be a good indicator for a coming market crash? How much is it going down? Let's overnight reverse repo, we're at 1.8 trillion. Earth, there we go. So it is coming down. It's arcing down. Now, is it going lower because the Fed's not offering them the returns? I don't think so. I think it's going lower because the banks need the cash. That's what I think is happening. We saw reports, Bank of America lost 100 billion, that deposits are down 400 billion at the big banks, that Goldman Sachs is preparing to reveal a huge loss in their earnings. I think that we're seeing a drop in this, not as a result of the reverse repo not being offered. I think it's seeing a drop in that people can't participate because they need to use that cash to like keep themselves above water at the moment. That's what I think is happening. Remember when this happened and everyone freaked out? Oh my gosh. There was one in 2019. Everyone freaked out about this one. They're like, what? Reverse repo is insane. It's at 64 billion. Oh my gosh. And now we've been hovering around 2 trillion for a year now. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Mighty Mouse, Elizabeth Warren going after BBBY. How will that affect BBBY? What Warren was going after was the attempt to wipe away pensions for workers, retirement plans, which I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I think the bigger thing that Warren needs to focus on is nefarious insiders of companies. That people become members of boards of companies, specifically destroy companies, and those who she needs to go after. Bankrupt companies are bankrupt, and they're going to have to restructure however they can. But the idea is prevent them from going bankrupt by making them stronger and not allowing bad actors on their boards. And you do that by making short attacks harder to do. No naked shorting, no payment for order flow, no dark pools. You make it so that leverage buyouts will minimize the amount of bonuses or salary people can earn until the debt's paid off. You won't be able to take out giant debts to do stock buybacks ever. You should not be able to borrow to do a stock buyback. That should be illegal. You should not be able to borrow and then give the CEO a bonus. That should be illegal. If you are borrowing money, your CEO gets nada. Give them minimum wage. And until your company's making profit, then they can make some money. But there needs to be a little bit more, needs to be more incentive to make these companies perform well, and you need to de-incentivize the poor performance of companies. Lila, fingers 5.99 after hours. We're back up to 6 again. Woo! Jamaican, come on. Hey, Houston, happy birthday. Any MMMTLP news? Did you catch the end of Charles Payne's show calling out Gensler on MMTLP? I have not seen the video yet. What was Gensler's opinion on that? Because apparently Gensler was coming on a show, right? So I'd like to know what. I've not seen the video yet. Robert Pierpoint. Hey, Houston. Did you see the story of the 700 gold coins from between 1840 and 1862 found on a farm field in Kentucky? They're worth around $2 million. I did not see that story, but I love it when people find treasure. Oh, finding treasure is the coolest thing in the world. I will have to look that one up. No name, or I shouldn't say, there's someone who has no name as their name, but this is like literally, there's just a blank space. Houston, if BBYQ loses the queue and is off the OTC, does that mean there's no longer a $4.95 fee on E-Trade per order? I would guess so, but they think they have to reapply to get on NASDAQ after this, which, if everything goes according to plan, I think we'll do just fine. Oh, there's a reset. Dang, resetting. Stupid reset thing. Okay. Don Senior Shadem, I'm from Cincinnati, went to 3 games this month. He's a god. We're talking about Della, what's his butt? Yeah. J-Dog, Utah Treasure Hunt 2023 still going. 25,000K if anyone by Salt Lake City. Oh, there's a treasure hunt going on near Salt Lake City. Awesome. Macron After Party is an expedition of Chapter 11 a rumor or a docket? It is docket. The filings were there. They have a hearing on the 24th for BBYQ. BFH Houston, basically HERS, gives loans to tech and healthcare startups and pays out the interest on the loans as dividends, and they pay out monthly with around 10% annual yield, and they're cheap. Noted. Jamaican Mon, Cattail Karaoke. I don't know where the cat is. He might be outside, for all I know. Stephen Latham, Houston. I talked to UPS driver today who thought the talks were making progress, but assumed it would be a last-minute 13th hour deal. I don't know, your friend, anything to add in there? Or who's the other UPS guy that was in the chat the other day? By all means, give us your opinions. Flight Guy 99, Houston. You headed to the West Seattle Street Fair. Should be a good time. Lots of pets for Monkey Butt. Well, I am headed to the West Seattle Street Fair. We're doing that. So Monkey Butt and I are walking to Georgetown, getting our fill of Asian pears. And then I'm meeting my friend Nick, and we're going to the West Seattle Street Fair after that. It is an older crowd than the Capitol Hill Block Party, which is, yeah, it's like 100,000 19-year-olds at the Capitol Hill Block Party. But the average age at the West Seattle Street Fair is also 19 years old. That's because it's a bunch of 38-year-olds with newborns. And it just averages out to 19 that way. Jim One Irons, or One-Olrons. Houston, I have a feeling the powers that be are going to make everything run at once to avoid us jumping from one to the next. What do you think? I don't think they can afford to do that. My guess is they want little pushes and squeezes to kind of keep everything muted. You don't want to all spike at once because that's a huge amount of money that has to be covered at one time. You don't want a whole bunch of stocks to go at the same time because there goes every asset you ever had going to pay off these things. They've been trying to like milk this as long as they can, but at some point you run out of assets. And having the SPY at 450 helps, but that's not going to last. KYP is here. Oh, there's Chupa Batman. He must have been let inside. That's what that door was about. Come on, come up. Come on. Kitty, come on. Come on, kitty. Come on. There you go. Cattail Karaoke. All right. Chalupa's here. He's up. He's scratching. Oh, what a scratchy butt you have. Okay. Ariel Elon, what are the odds BBBY moons? Greater than 0. I mean, at 30 cents, anything in the dollars range is like, Woo! Right, monkey? You get up there, look at that monkey book after. Yes. What a good dog. What a good dog. In 10 minutes, I'll get you up and we'll just crinkle that bag. Daphne Andrew Stewart is in San Francisco. Apparently, I gave him list of things. Oh, hey, Scott. Got your mail? Fantastic. All right. See you, bud. Yeah. So that's who let you in. That was the Scott Meister coming and pick up his mail finally. Fantastic, cat. All right. Daphne Andrew Stewart is in San Francisco. Apparently, I gave him a list of things to do. I told him to give you a call because it's been like a decade since I hung out in San Francisco. So I didn't know what even exists anymore. I think one thing you have to do is you have to go get scared by the guy dressed as a bush down on the waterfront. You don't know where he's going to be because he's dressed as a bush and he's going to scare the crap out of you wherever you are. So, be on high alert. Eric D. Happy birthday. Just slow cooking some pork shoulder for some pulled pork sliders for dinner and listening to you, baby. Excellent. I love slow cooking things. It's delicious. Daniel Bernard Houston, partly interested enough, has more dockets filed and more than BBBYQ has. I threw a casino bet at it for shits and giggles. That's, yeah, so many dockets have been filed in the last couple of days. So many things have been filed at the docket. It's bonkers. I pretty much just rely on somebody else to go through them all and post interesting things on Reddit for me because otherwise, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, off topic, but did you see Eric Finman's shenanigans with BBBY yesterday? No. Was he trying to buy up more? It's December, January news. I got nothing since December about him popping up in news. Send me a link if you can. I would love to see. CK, I saw the Big podcast of the day. By the way, it was great. Thank you. It's had a lot of people watch that one. It spread around. Scott Ryan Studios are going to do it with AI and actors are done, so are writers. That's the thing, is that we should just pass a law saying you can't. And if your movie did it and you filmed in another country, you can't show it here. You lose the U.S. market, which is the largest movie-going market. So, just say no. Say no, elected officials. You can't use AI to make movies or TV shows. Of course, 3,330 shares, 53 calls. Nice. All right, something Houston just hit me. Back then, when there was a margin call and a guy was given a note, gets on a bike, goes across town to deliver the news to a hedgie, I'm sure those are the days. Now you get a phone call. And you can just be like Bill Huang and just not answer the phone. They're not answering. I keep calling, telling them that they're being margin called, and no one's picking up the phone. Bill Huang's just going, la 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 la, while his entire empire implodes around him. I'm not receiving enough data to maintain streaming warning happening. So I might turn to a pumpkin here momentarily. Dana Bernard, do you think music industry would be due for a strike? Talk about the most corrupt discuss industry to pay. I did an article when I was at Lewis and Clark. I wrote an article for the Pio Log, which was their student newspaper, about the music industry. And basically, artists used to only make money off of touring. Like, let's say you got a gold album, you sold 1 million albums, right? That's at $15.99 an album CD. That was $16 million. Of that $16 million that was made for the record label, the average artist will receive about $80,000 of that sales. So $16 million, the artist makes $80,000 of it. This was 2003 or so. It has not changed. Well, streaming has changed. So, if you aren't the producer of the album, you have to hire a producer, They're going to give themselves lots of writing credits. The record label is going to charge you studio time, all sorts of things. It'll cost you $800,000 out of pocket to make a big album. That's 20 years ago. And so artists would have to tour to get that back. And the way production contracts were written, especially back in the day, was even worse. You read about guys like Bo Diddley who were playing in like into their 90s because they were illiterate. They signed a contract that gave all the writing credits to their producers. And so none of the songs that he wrote and played and were on his albums did he own. They were owned by the person who recorded them. He got completely screwed out of it. It happened with a lot of groups. And that music was big money. And they just basically stole it from them. Because, hey, I can record you. I spent $5,000 on a recording system. I'll record you and own everything. Ha ha ha, you suck. That's how it went for a long time. There's been some equalizing with self-publishing and self-producing. You can buy equipment now for your computer, make albums pretty easily. You can put your music videos onto YouTube and get the revenues directly from that. So you can do things like that. You can publish to your iTunes or whatever music service and sell your songs for 99 cents. And Apple will take 30% of that, but you'll get the rest. So there's a lot of that, but even you go to Spotify or Pandora, something can have 1 billion downloads or 1 billion plays, and the artist will get dollars out of it. I am absolutely no fan of Eve 6. I think as a band, not my style. The singer, the songwriter for Eve 6, who has the Eve 6 Twitter handle, is hilarious. As much as I am bored with their music, he is a funny, brilliant man, and I'll follow his Twitter. And he points out, hey, Spotify played our song 458 million times last month to people, and we made $3,000. That's making $3,000 is cool and all. If I on YouTube had 358 million plays, I would be that would get me $3.5 million on YouTube. So if you guys can share this video 358 million times, that'd be fantastic. I'd greatly appreciate that. But if a song is being played on Spotify 358 million times, he's making $3,000. That's not right. So yeah, the music industry is also kind of screwed in that one. There needs to be a guild, like Screen Actors Guild or the Writers Guild. That needs to be. The musicians should have bargaining power as well on that. Because then now you're looking at the concerts where these artists were making lots of money, and now because of the fee structure that Ticketmaster has and their giant monopoly and all these things, they own the venues and they're the only ones you can buy tickets through. They're taking so much. Make every venue a nonprofit and remove the fees just across the globe. Take all the money out of it. Let the artists make the money off this and just pay people living wages. That's what I want. Mighty Mouse, what can you tell me about ticker TMF? Is it a good hedge for market crash? I know nothing about TMF. What is TMF? Too much food. TMF, Direction Daily 20-year Treasury Bull 3x shares ETF. What are you? Average price 1993, high forecast 25, and a low forecast of 6. It's at 7, so it's hitting the low forecast, that's for sure. I don't know how it works. Is it inverse? Daily investment results, fee expenses. I don't know. I'll have to look it up for you. There, Mighty Mouse. Derek Kohler, sounds like the Vice thing is what the interview was based on. Kinda. Kim Jong-il was still alive then. So, yeah, Un wasn't in charge yet. One of the fascinating things was in that I'll find the link for it. It is just a fascinating video. Is that their minder? They have like this communist guy whose job it is to like take them around and show them things, and he takes them to this little tower that's built in the middle of these rice paddies. So they go up in this tower, and it's like a little gift shop up there, and there's like a coffee stand, and there's this beautiful young woman, and her job is like a tour guide. And the minder like leaves them there. He's like, I'll come pick you up in a couple hours. And just leaves the two guys with this young woman who is just the sweetest, beautiful. She's so excited to practice her English, and they're talking to her, and they're asking like, how many people come here? She's like, not many. Well, when was the last time you had a guest? She's like, 6 months ago. Like you come here every day for work, you get in your little uniform, and you just stand there waiting for someone to show up. She's like, mm-hmm. And they've shown up twice in the last year. Yes. He's like, huh, interesting. And so they end up like, there's a pool table, so they played billiards with her and like goof around, and she's just so happy to have someone to talk to that is not like just a normal communist minder. It is one of the sweetest interactions I've ever seen. I need to find that thing. What is Vice goes to North Korea? Is that what it's called? Inside North Korea. So this is 2016. Must have been before that. I think it was like 2013, 2014. Inside North Korea. Here it is. Okay, 2011. So it was a while ago. Inside North Korea. Where's part 1? Come on, show me. Part 3, part 1 of 3. There we go. Okay. Here's part 1 of 3. It is. I'll throw it into the chat here. Oh, I'm gonna get a copyright strike. Stop, shut up, go away. Don't start playing. Yeah, so hit that sucker up. 1, 2, and 3. It is fascinating. And granted, it's 12 years old now, but it is phenomenal. And like what's going on there now is not much different than what's happening then. It's still a totalitarian dictatorship. People are still starving and have nothing. You know, there's still an autocratic leader who's a dictator and runs everything, and everyone has to follow them. But I recommend watching it. When I'm done, in 8 minutes, you can watch all 3 episodes and enjoy your Friday night. Okay. Thief88, happy birthday, Houston. Who is more reputable, World Health Organization or the FDA? Who should we believe in this aspartame issue? There is a cancer warning on aspartame in Europe. Granted, you pump lab rats full of stuff, they'll get cancer. I don't think the real issue is that it's a carcinogen. I think the real issue is that these artificial sweeteners they use oftentimes act as neurotoxins. They can break the blood-brain barrier, and they seem to degrade people. There's lots of studies done showing that folks that were diagnosed with Parkinson's, when they were told to cut out like Diet Coke out of their diet, Parkinson's vanished. That stuff's been around for 20 years, and lots of peer-reviewed studies have shown that. That aspartame, when it's warm, like if you're drinking a warm Diet Coke, 80 degrees or more, it breaks down to even worse neurotoxin. So if you're going to drink it cold. You don't want to drink it warm. But then your body warms up and it can break down to that anyway. I think that's a bigger reason to worry about artificial sweeteners than it being a carcinogen, is that, you know, you might have a lot of motor skill problems as a result of having that stuff in your system. Plus, it tastes gross. I'd go the devil I know than the devil I don't. 8-3D, 4D, 3D. I just finished up my second semester of university with 3.5 GPA. Good job. Good job. Get it. Beachy Sunday, Houston. Open an LLC, get a loan, pay student loan, apply for bankruptcy. Good plan? As good as any. Why not? I'm going to do this huge business thing. Oh, it didn't work out. Sorry, bank. I can't pay you back. Company's in bankruptcy. There's a receiver, and they're doing their thing. I have no customers. It's a bummer. But my student loans are gone. Gave myself a $200,000 bonus. You have to pay taxes on that bonus, though. But, whatevs. What's Daphne got? Daphne sent a link. As oil output peaks, U.S. Gulf of Mexico makes room for carbon capture. They're going to have to do something. We need to pull carbon from the atmosphere in a huge way. We need to pull as much as we can, as fast as we can. And we need to limit the amount we're pumping out as well. We can be neutral and suck the carbon from the atmosphere and reburn it again. But that just leaves us where we are, which is too warm. And we've got these torrential downpours happening. We've got droughts expanding. It's just a mess. Heat domes and polar vortexes, they're all same mechanism happening. Jacob Casper, damn, Houston really knows his stuff on global warming. Yeah, man. I mean, all you need to know about global warming is look at Venus. Venus is 97% carbon dioxide and 900 degrees Fahrenheit in the night side, 900 degrees Fahrenheit in the daylight side, because that's how good of an insulator carbon dioxide is. And, Venus is about the same size as the Earth. The Earth contains the same amount of oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide as Venus does. It's just that we have a system in place. We've got tectonic plates that move around, and we've got creatures that can absorb carbon. Venus doesn't have those things. So the minute you boil off the oceans and you kill all the life, our atmosphere will be 97% carbon dioxide, and the average temperature here will probably be 600, 700 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you get to that runaway effect, there's no hope for this place. You can't, everything will be dead. There'll be so much sulfuric acid in the atmosphere, just sizzle everything out of existence. So, yeah. KYP, is Monday the last day to buy BBYQ? No, you'll still be able to buy it. Monday, apparently there may be an announcement of a merger. My guess is it'll be Tuesday when they do a restructuring, when they file the restructuring with the court on the 18th. But no, you'll still be able to buy it. Daphne, I love the Bush guy. Not sure if he's still there, though. I just summoned the monkey. She's coming. The monkey is coming with the meats from Hawaii for the Hawaii dog. Hawaii. Oh, little wahine. Want beef. Oh, chica, want beef. Want it? There you go. Shoots, brah. Get in there. Get in there. Okay. Joseph Howard just got here, but when BBYQ exits bankruptcy, ups their stock price. Just like that. Dave R., what's the difference? You can use counterfeit shares in the stock market, right? But not for the AI, for the actor. Yeah. Prontal, is existence of life justifiable because Earth with life is more effective at increasing entropy in the universe? I don't think the universe cares if there's life on Earth exists or not. I'm personally of the philosophy that life exists on Earth because it can. That wherever you have a system that sits long enough, the probability of enough atoms combining to make amino acids, RNAs, etc., that life will eventually occur as a result of the mutations of those chemicals. That's what's the basis of the Miller-Urey experiment. If you know what that is, we talked about it on the show before. Look it up. That if you give enough ingredients for life, life will form. And the Miller-Urey experiment has not created life yet, but has created slime and amino acids, which you can actually eat. You can eat the stuff that was created by the Miller-Urey experiment. and incorporate that into our life-like structures. But I think you get anywhere where you have 2-3 billion years of a stable sun, a planet with a good water cycle happening, where water's existing in 3 states. You get that for long enough, life's going to start forming out of that. And that's just... Yeah, quit knocking things off the table. That's just how it is. So the only reason life is here is because it can be here, and that's about it. And it took 3.5 billion years to even get like those little microorganisms to form in something. In the remaining billion years since then, it's gone crazy. We've gone from single life organisms that are just basically like dividing to complex organisms wearing Mr. Clean shirts, talking about markets on an internet we created in order to not feel so lonely. So there we go. All right, everybody. I gotta go. Monkey butt, you want to say goodbye to everyone? You want to come here and say goodbye? You want to come here and say goodbye? Come on, say goodbye. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Come on up. See, look at the camera right there. Are you looking at that camera? Say goodbye. Bye-bye. How's she saying? I'll catch you guys on Monday. Hopefully weird things will be happening and we'll get going. All right.